Hey guys, Jessi Kneeland here of Remodel Fitness. This is my ongoing Q&A series, Ask Jessi Kneeland. You can always submit questions that you want answered to my contact form on my website, which is jessikneeland.com. Today's question we have, hey Jessi, my question is about how to not let people's negative comments bother you. I ask specifically because I'm a curvy girl, not fat, just soft, with big boobs and a butt. I usually like my curves, but people often say it's too bad I'm not just a bit thinner because I have such a pretty face. Seriously, I've heard the statement, it's a real shame, dozens of times. Even if I liked my body that morning, hearing stuff like that makes me feel so bad about myself. I want to just rock my curves like Beyonce without it bothering me, but it really, really hurts my feelings. Any advice? AM. Yes. First of all, that is a completely unacceptable thing to say. I'm sure you know this. It feels unacceptable, but it also is unacceptable. So it hurting your feelings is something that I think makes some sense there. I wouldn't be so harsh on yourself for allowing a completely unacceptable and inappropriate comment to affect you. You're human. The other thing is it's not just an insult. They're not just insulting you. They're actually taking liberties with your humanity. They're saying you are supposed to be something for my viewing pleasure. Like, I would be happier if you looked different, is what they're saying. So there's a real yucky, objectifying piece of that particular kind of statement, that it's too bad you aren't thinner because you have a pretty face. It's like the most, like, kind of disturbingly backhanded insult ever. And so I would also encourage you just to know that this isn't just, it's not hurting your feelings because somebody's insulting you. It's possibly also hurting your feelings because someone is stepping over such a massive boundary and assuming that they have permission to comment on you and make choices for you and completely strip you of all the three-dimensional qualities that make you you and all the cool stuff you have to offer, other than, you know, your like body fat percentage. So I would kind of think about it from those places, just to kind of cut yourself some slack for it hurting your feelings. Also, if a lot of people are saying this to you, I would look at what vibe you're giving off that makes people think that's an acceptable thing to say. Like, this is by no means blaming you, but there must be something that makes people believe that maybe you're open to unsolicited and completely inappropriate advice, right? Because that's not a thing that everybody hears all the time. Although absolutely in our culture, we definitely have most women being commented on way more than is acceptable or appropriate. Most people feel totally okay with just commenting on any other woman's body or any woman's body if they are not a female, and sort of coming up with the ways that they would do it differently, or that woman should do it differently, having a body differently. So yes, people are inappropriate. Yes, there is definitely like a sense of privilege that, like, there's a right to comment on other people's bodies, which I completely disagree with. But if it's happening to you a lot, I would just look at, like, what boundaries can you strengthen around other people to make sure that it's clear that you're not soliciting unsolicited advice, and that you're not okay with being treated that way either. Because if somebody said that to me, well, first of all, I'd be startled. I'd be really surprised. But then after that, like, I'd be mad, and I'd probably let the person know, and not like necessarily attack them for saying it, but just be like, hey, wow, it's really not okay with me to say something like that. And therefore, I'm just suggesting that if there's a boundary in how you come off, maybe that's a place that you could examine, or at least sort of start considering. And like I said, this by no means means you're like asking for it. It's just a very simple, like, that, like, approach it with curiosity. That's a thing that keeps happening. I wonder what's going on. I wonder if there's any element that I can control in that. And maybe there's not. But if there is, then that's what you want to focus on, because you can't control other people's behavior. You can only control your own. The second thing I wanted to mention about this is the fact that when we talk about being bothered by or offended by or hurt by somebody's statements like that to us, it has to resonate with something that maybe we believe. Otherwise, it wouldn't hurt our feelings. Because if I were like, wow, you're a crocodile, you would be like, no, I'm not. And you wouldn't be offended. You wouldn't be like, God, I can't believe she thought I was a crocodile. Like, you would just disagree. So if I said, wow, it's too bad, that you aren't a little bit thinner, some part of you agrees. Otherwise, you would just go, no, it's not. And that's the thing that I would really dig into for yourself, because that's what you can work through in your own personal, your inner work, can deal with, like, what is making me agree with that, or what part of me, even if it's tiny, some whisper of an agreement is happening there, or it can't hurt your feelings. And this is why, like, the people who hurt my feelings know me better than everybody else. A stranger on the street would have a really, really hard time hurting my feelings as badly as, like, my brother could, because he knows all the stuff that I'm most afraid of about myself, and all the stuff that makes me, like, mad at myself, and all the things, all those trigger points, all those things that I might agree with, he knows them, so he can say them. And when he says them, I'm like, oh, that's what I was hoping not to be, So it freaks me out. It makes me angry. It hurts my feelings. It hits like raw trigger points for me to hear things that I already, at least on some level, agree with. But it does nothing if you called me a crocodile, It would do nothing if somebody said something that I didn't agree with on any level. So I would just look at that and start looking at what parts of you are agreeing with that. And if those are things that you can heal. Are they old wounds? Is it like a childhood thing, a belief system maybe that you carry that says being thinner is better? Or is it as simple as these are people that you want to please? Maybe you're being told this by people like your parents or your closest friends or lovers. Like, that would definitely give you a sense of non-safety in your own skin and body. And those are things you need to be looking at. So if it's being agreed with, even if it's a tiny bit, I would start digging into that for yourself. Because that's really the only way things can stop bothering us, is when we stop agreeing with them. We can't make people stop saying it, although we can do our best to let them know that it's not okay. But people are going to say things, and if you want it to roll off your back, you have to fully not agree with it. So that's my answer. I hope this is helpful. And yeah, I hope you get to kick some ass the next time someone says something like that to you. I hope you get to, like, stand up for yourself a little bit and then do some good inner work and turn it into an opportunity, because that's a really not okay thing for somebody to be saying.